Hello, let me ask you an honest question. Did anyone actually teach you how to handle money? Or did you grow up watching money control people's decisions and emotions? Most of us were not taught money. We absorbed it. We absorbed fear. We absorbed pressure. We absorbed manage it till month end. And now as an adult, you're wondering why money feels heavy, even when we earn more. Here's the hard truth. Most people don't like hearing. Motivation won't fix your finances. You can be inspired today and still make the same money mistakes tomorrow. Why? Because money problems are rarely knowledge problems. They are identity and system problems. That's why I created the Money Click program. Not to teach people how to hustle harder, but to help you understand why you do what you do with money. So have you ever wondered why you keep making the same money mistakes, even after reading books, attending seminars, and learning about budgeting and so much more? Maybe you've promised yourself countless times that, oh, this month I'll save, this year I'll invest, this time I'll be more disciplined. Yet somehow you end up repeating the same cycle. What if your problem isn't lack of financial knowledge? What if it's unresolved financial trauma? Financial trauma occurs when painful money experiences create emotional wounds that continue to influence your financial decisions even years later. Perhaps you grew up in a home where there was never enough. Perhaps your parents constantly fought over money. Perhaps you watched the family business collapse. Perhaps you experienced sudden poverty after a period of comfort. That event may have ended, but the emotional impact remained. And today, those experiences may be silently shaping how you earn, how you spend, how you invest, and even discuss money. So many people are trying to solve emotional problems with financial strategies. That's like trying to treat a broken bone with perfume. Until you heal the wound, the symptoms will keep returning. And that is why I created the Healing from Financial Trauma course. Not to teach more budgeting, not to teach more investing, but to help people understand the hidden emotional forces driving their money decisions. Because when healing begins, financial transformation becomes sustainable. If this resonates with you, send us a message. Let's talk about how you can join the Healing from Financial Trauma course. You can just comment healing in the comments. I'll reach out to you with the details. My name is Chukwemeko Yinezi and I'm the founder of the Viral Academy. Bye-bye. Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to our Thursday live session here on YouTube. Yes, thank you so much, Madam Anne, for being well seated, coming all the way from the Inner Circle program. I'm sure we all came from there. Most of us came from there. If you're not part of those who came from there, try to join the Inner Circle, please. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am, for being here. Ellie, as always, and every other person who have joined us today. Thank you, and thank you very much for being here. Thank you. My name is Chukwemeko Yunizi. I'm the founder of the Naira Academy, and I'm your billionaire coach. Yes, Mr. Chris, Mrs. Iyamu, thank you so much. Madam Tomori, thank you, and welcome to you all. Good morning. Okay. Yes, it's always hard. It's always hard, but we'll be all right. You'll always be all right. Okay, so today I want to talk about hello, Madam Tony George. Yes, welcome, ma. Welcome. So I want us to talk about the culture of financial sacrifice. Right? The culture of financial sacrifice. Yes, yes, Madam Tony George, Madam Tony George. Sorry, Madam Anne. Yes, I was there. I'm always there. I don't miss it for anything. You're always there. Yes, but we'll keep showing up. Consistency is key to what we do. I will make sure that we stay consistent, right? Yes. So the culture of financial sacrifice that keeps families poor. You know, sacrifice is one of the most respected virtues in many families.
right? We raise our children, teaching them how to sacrifice for each other, for the family. We celebrate parents who deny themselves comfort so that their children can succeed, right? We admire siblings who support one another. We honor those who give generously to relatives in time of need. Hmm? And rightly so. Sacrifice is an expression of love. Sacrifice is an expression of love. Sacrifice is a way to show love to other people. All right? But there's a difficult truth that we rarely talk about when it comes to this. Not every financial sacrifice creates a better future. So some sacrifices relieves today's pain while quietly creating tomorrow's poverty. All right. So sometimes what we call sacrifice is actually the reason wealth never survives beyond one generation. We are sacrificing at the expense of our future. So sacrifice is okay until sacrifice becomes a lifestyle instead of a strategy. What do I mean? Healthy sacrifice has a response. Healthy sacrifice is temporary. It solves a problem. A healthy sacrifice solves a problem while creating the better future. Right? For example, a parent paying school fees instead of buying luxury item. That's a healthy sacrifice. A family that is cutting expenses to start a business. That's a healthy sacrifice. Let's say you're saving aggressively today to be able to buy one income producing asset tomorrow. That's a healthy as sacrifice. You want to save today to be able to purchase a building, to be able to buy stocks. That's a healthy sacrifice. These sacrifices are creating opportunities tomorrow. If you're sacrificing today for your children's education tomorrow, that's a healthy sacrifice. You're sacrificing today to create opportunities tomorrow, to create assets, to create long-term stability, right? But unhealthy sacrifice looks different. And a lot of times, a lot of us are on this boat of unhealthy sacrifice, and it's killing our finances. A lot of us are on this boat of unhealthy sacrifice that is killing our finances. Unhealthy sacrifice is endless. It becomes endless. It becomes endless. Once you just hit one financial breakthrough, it's immediately consumed by someone else's emergency, right? Every promotion you gain is creating new dependents. You're gaining promotion, but you're not even enjoying the promotion that you just gained because there are people, new dependents, that are going to eat into the promotion. Every increase in income that comes to you is pushed into obligations that never end. There's no end for it, it's continuous. So somebody is always having emergencies in their lives, permanent emergencies. It has gotten to the point where you have now created a budget for them. So every month you see to this person's needs. So it is no longer a temporary thing. It has now become a permanent thing. Right? And when you get yourself to that position where you're sacrificing everything permanently without looking at the health of your finances, then you have a problem. When you get to that point where your sacrifices do not bring back, yes, not every sacrifice would actually bring back future returns. Not every sacrifice will be you make sacrifice for to train the child in school or to start a business. There are sacrifices that you'd have to do that will be sacrifices that you're just doing for somebody and there's nothing coming back in return for you. Like I said, sacrifice is also an act of love. But the problem is when it becomes permanent. Like a lot of us have come to have in our lives. You now create a family where a situation where your family is just surviving. Your family can never build wealth. Why? Because the extra money that should build wealth is going into sacrifices. Don't get me wrong, you will help people, but it cannot be a permanent thing. I once said something here before, earlier this year, and I told you something that a mentor of mine told me years ago. And he said to me, if you must create wealth, right, then you must be selfish to an extent for yourself and your family, the immediate family. If not, you can never create wealth. You must be able to hold yourself together and use the extra money to create something. And the truth is, if you do not create wealth, then you're just surviving. Then it will just take one issue and you'll go back to the same level of place where the people you were helping are. So you need to save yourself before you can save another person. There's a difference between helping and carrying. There's a difference. Imagine two brothers, right? One loses his job unexpectedly. Then the other helps him to pay rent for 3 months while he's searching for work. Right? He's searching for work. 3 months, he helps him to pay his rent for 3 months while he's searching for work. That is support. Now imagine 10 years later, the same brother is still paying rent for his siblings' rent. He's still paying his siblings' rent. He's still paying the children's school fees. He's paying the children's utility bills. He's paying the daily expenses of the brother's family. And it's because nobody has addressed the underlying issues. It's no longer temporary support. It has become a permanent dependency. And a lot of people have these permanent dependencies in their lives. The aim of helping is to create independence. If you're going to help someone through a situation, you're helping the person so that the person can get on their feet and then you withdraw. The person can continue. You're helping to create independence. But when your help has become a permanent dependency, it's now seen as permanent dependency, it becomes a problem. If it creates dependence, it is no longer helping. If you've gotten to that point where it creates dependence, it is no longer helping. Yes, and that's you literally just bailing someone out who should take up responsibility for their own family. And a lot of us are doing it. A lot of us have taken up responsibilities for siblings, families, when the heads of those families are able-bodied and alive. You have the sibling who is married and has children. The two of them are able-bodied, but you have taken total dependence of everything concerning their family. You're also killing your own financial health. And you are also not helping them at all. Because what will help them is for them to become independent. And if you decide that you want to take up all their responsibilities, you are creating a dependence. They will not become independent. They will not become independent. Right? Thank you very much, Madam Anne, for sharing. You're not becoming independent. So, there's a pattern. There's a pattern in our society that every successful person must rescue everybody. It's one pattern in our society. Once one successful person comes out, the person has to rescue every other person. And this pattern is common among African societies, among African communities. The first person to make it is expected to become the family bank, the scholarship fund, the emergency fund, the retirement plan, the healthcare provider, the wedding sponsor, the funeral sponsor, the lender of last resort, everything. You can imagine just because one person, I think I once heard a story of a man telling his brother to give him, he said he wanted a wedding. And he went to his brother that was successful. And he asked for an outrageous amount of money, not for loan, no, just to dash him. An outrageous amount of money that he wanted to use it for his wedding. You don't have that amount, you're asking for that amount of money. Once there's one successful person in the family, the person becomes the family scholarship fund. The person now will now start training every other person's children in school. Right? Success becomes now less about building wealth and more about carrying everyone else. That's why a lot of people who are even successful are living with trauma. They're living with trauma. And because you've shown that you are ready to carry everything, right? They keep coming back because they don't want to be dependent anymore. They've tasted dependence so much that they do not like independence anymore. They don't like independence anymore. So over time, the successful person begins to feel guilty for saying no. They develops that culture of feeling guilty for saying no. And that's how the person stops investing. That's how you stop investing. That's how you stop saving. That's how you delay your own personal goals. You can't even look at your own life and get things right in your life anymore. Right? Because you're exhausted. Because you're exhausted with calls. Because you're exhausted with demands. Because you're exhausted with people depending on you. Right? When poverty becomes shared, and it's one thing we need to understand, when poverty becomes shared, wealth does not grow. When poverty becomes shared, wealth does not grow. You know, many families have perfected the art of sharing income, but they have never learned to build wealth together. Right? So every month, money flows outward. Very little flows into investment. Most families, they will call meetings. Oh, come help your brother. You are not helping this person. This relative is needs help. But most families will never call meetings to talk about investments. Most families will not call meetings to have family businesses. Most families will not call meetings to have family retirement plans, to create productive assets. So all we are busy doing in families is sharing poverty. We're just sharing poverty. What we're doing in our families is thinking of how to spend money. We need to change the trajectory of families. We need to change how we think at the family level. We need to start thinking creativity, investing on a family level. Instead of always coming together in families to talk about how to spend money, let's start coming together to talk about how to create investments as a family. If you look all over the world, you see so many businesses that were created by families. Families coming together to put money together to create things among the ones that have. But you see, if there is no opportunity for these things to happen, then all that the families are going to be doing is keep giving to the poor ones amongst them. And at the end of the day, they can never create that wealth actually. There are a lot of families that should get to the point where they start creating businesses, but the poor ones among them are preventing them. Without assets, every generation will start from the beginning again. And if people cannot sit down and realize that there's a need to build, then that phase of generation will pass on, and the next generation will carry on with the poverty. We need to understand also that sacrifice without boundaries will breed resentment. You know, at first, sacrifice always feels noble. It's noble to sacrifice. But over time, it can quietly become resentment. Right? The son who wanted to start a business keeps paying everyone's bills. The daughter who dreamed of owning property delays buying a home because she's supporting relatives. The young professional postpones investing because every bonus has already been promised to someone else. No one planned for this, and yet everybody is trapped in it. Love without boundaries can become exhaustion. And all these things has a hidden cost for the next generation. Right? Why? Because when we do the things we do, when we sacrifice without limits, your children notice more than parents than you and I realize. Children notice more than you and I realize. So they see you constantly giving but never getting ahead. They hear you making statements like, I can't save because of my family. I don't have savings. It's because I'm helping my family. That's why I don't have savings. They hear you say things like that. Your children hear you say things like, everything I earn goes to people. Your children hear you say things like, maybe next year I'll start thinking about myself. This year I didn't do anything for myself. Or maybe next year I'll start thinking about myself. And your children absorb a lesson, a subtle lesson, which is part of the lessons that you too absorb from your own parents. And what's that lesson? That financial success means carrying everybody. And at that point, that's the beginning of trauma for some people. Because some people start becoming afraid of success because they associate wealth with endless obligations. There are some people who don't want to be successful because of the too much problems around them. There are some people that eventually, when they become successful, they are hiding themselves. They never let their relatives know that they have anything. It's trauma. It's trauma that you hide yourself from your relatives because you know that once they know to the extent that you earn, you are in trouble. It will be request from left, right, center. Right? Some people develop a different response when they see things like this. Some people become selfish because they have watched generosity become exploitation. See, we have seen certain families where it is no longer generosity that is happening. It is now people that you're being generous to be exploiting you. Right? And none of this response is healthy. That somebody's response from watching their parents give and give becomes that they don't want to be successful because of the obligations facing them, or that their response is they become too selfish because they watched generosity become exploitation. Neither of these responses are healthy. But the truth is, when your children watch you give without limitations, they can develop either of these responses. And yes, some of the people who come to you sometimes are not coming to you for just for help. They are exploiting you. But because you're emotional, most times you won't even realize it. Some families have moved beyond crisis management. Right? For some people, emergencies have become a way of life. Every year there's another emergency. There are people that they are always meeting somebody for an emergency to pay school fees for their children. They are always meeting somebody in the family to help them pay rent as an emergency. Every year, rent is an emergency for them. They are always meeting that successful person as emergency. Hey, they want to evict us. Please help us. Every year, consistently. Consistently. None of these things are unusual on their own. Right? And the problem is that nothing is being built to reduce some of these things. So we're giving in to them. So every crisis that you solve by another sacrifice would only continue the circle. So they'll keep bringing the crisis. You keep solving it. They will know that, oh, you're capable to solve the crisis. So they'll bring more crises to you. They'll bring more emergencies to you. Every year, every now and then, more will come to you. More will come to you. And yes, at some point, it becomes entitlement. When you don't give them, they ask you why. But you have it, why can't you give it? But you have it, why can't you give it? Thank you very much, Madam Christie. In most cases, when you do this giving and giving and giving, and you're not able to create wealth, and something happens to your finances tomorrow, they'll be the ones to ask you what you did with all. So all the money you made, sure you couldn't amount to anything with it. They'll be the ones to still come at you. Yes, and they'll still forget the rent, they help you render to them. They'll be the ones to come at you. Right? Yes, thank you very much, Madam Tony George. Self first is not selfish interest. It's not. It's not. It's not. There's a difference between we need to start understanding that as families, there's a need for us to build wealth as a family. If you came from a struggling family, if you do not intentionally build wealth, You have not broken the cycle. There's a difference between consumption and construction, right? Imagine two families, right? Family A receives 2 million naira, and within months, it has been distributed among relatives. That 2 million, different relatives asking, my head is paining me. My son just fell from the tree. My daughter just entered the river. Different stories. Would they just want evict us? Please give us money for rent. 2 million within a month distributed. And once it's distributed, everybody feels relieved. The whole family is relieved. Oh, good now. But nothing is remaining. Now, family B also receives 2 million, right? Part of the 2 million, part is used to help immediate needs. Part is invested in business or a farmland or a rental property or one form of diversified investment that can generate future income. So years later, that asset continues producing resources that can support more people. One family consumed the opportunity, the other family constructed the future. The first family consumed the whole 2 million. The other family was able to use a part of the money to help families that were in needs, the relatives that were in needs, immediate needs, had real emergencies, just a little part of it. And a huge part of the 2 million was put in investment, which was put in an investment that would generate future income. So years later, that investment is now able to produce money to support more people. A lot of us are those families that are consuming opportunities. We're consuming opportunities. We're those families that are consuming opportunities, right? Real love does not only meet today's needs. I say it again because we feel, like was something I said in the class before. I think that was yesterday, right? And I told you that our brain wants immediate gratification. And the brain of the people who are always meeting you are just thinking about today. And what they see as love, what they feel as love is what they can give them now, today. That's what they see as love. So when you tell them, oh, I'm building, don't worry, tomorrow, they don't want to hear that. But you need to realize that real love does not always meet today's needs. Real love does not only meet today's needs, it builds tomorrow's capacity. So it is also a show of love when you say no and continue building. It's also a show of love. Why? Because you're building the capacity to help more people tomorrow and not help everybody today and die alongside. So stewardship is the goal. It's not just to just keep helping and sacrificing. Stewardship is greater than endless sacrifices. Stewardship is greater. See, a lot of us feel guilty for saying I need to save. Oh, we feel guilty. A lot of us feel guilty for saying I need to invest. A lot of us feel guilty. Someone requests for money, and you tell the person, oh, really, I can't give you right now because I'm actually saving. Or I have to put the money in an investment. You feel guilty. So you can't even say it. Yeah, will I now say that I'm investing money? I can't give someone. You feel guilty to tell someone that, oh, I can't give right now because my money is in an investment or my money is in my savings for something. We feel guilty to say it. We feel guilty to tell somebody I can't meet your requests. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't meet this. We feel guilty. But you need to always think stewardship. Stewardship requires you thinking beyond today. If you destroy your own financial future by trying to solve every present problem, eventually there will be nothing left to give. You cannot continuously pour from a cup that is never filled. Fill up the cup first. You can't continuously pour from a cup that is never filled. Building wealth is not selfish. It's not. Building wealth is not selfish. Building wealth wisely increases your capacity to serve others over a lifetime. When you build wealth, you can help even more people. But when you don't build wealth before you start helping, you can't build wealth anymore. You can't. In the part of this world where we come from, in Africa, right? Family and community are among our greatest strengths. A lot of people have survived difficult seasons in life because of relatives. Because relatives shared food, because they shared shelter, they shared financial support, right? That spirit of generosity should not be lost. I'm not saying we should lose it, it should not be lost. But the thing is, generosity without structure can unintentionally keep the entire family financially fragile. Whenever every generation spends everything it earns supporting the previous generation without building, without building productive assets for the next generation, wealth will struggle to accumulate. Will struggle to accumulate wealth. Why do you think that in this part of the world we have consistently struggled at building generational wealth? I'm not saying you should abandon family. The goal is not to abandon family. The goal is to move from survival support to wealth creation. Imagine families investing together. Imagine families owning. How many family owned businesses do we have in Nigeria? Imagine families owning farmland, big farmland, rental properties, education. We need to move away from just merely sharing income in families. We need to move towards investing together, right? Instead of just sharing income, you start sharing assets, assets that create income, income that creates opportunities, options, that would help reduce future emergencies. What we need to do is empower ourselves, not to spend ourselves down. And if you think that continuously bailing out somebody in the family is helping the person, then you're making a big mistake. You're not creating, you just created the dependency. You just created dependency. The Bible says that the wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down. Wise people do not consume everything they have for any reason whatsoever. They preserve resources for the future. Right? When the Bible said in 1 Timothy 5:8 that anyone who does not provide for their relatives has denied the faith, providing includes meeting genuine needs. But provision requires planning so that you can continue to provide tomorrow, not just today. They pay you salary today. Everything ends today. So if you lose your job today, you have nothing completely. Nothing completely. If you remember in the parable of the talents in Matthew 25, I think from 14 to 30, it's quite a long verse, this thing. The servants were commended not merely for preserving what they had, but for multiplying it. God values faithful stewardship that creates increase. Are you multiplying what is in your hands? Or are you consistently draining it down and waiting for another one to come? So we need to build a new family culture. A wealthy family culture is not one where no one ever has a need. A wealthy family culture is not one where no one ever needs help. It's not. It is one where emergencies are less frequent, education is prioritized, investing is normal, entrepreneurship is encouraged. Everybody is working hard, not one person depending on the other completely. It is one where boundaries are respected, right? It is one where assets are built. The goal is not to produce one successful family member. The goal should be to build a successful family system. But most times in our society, you hear people complain, especially the ones who are the dependents. Hey, he doesn't want to help me. She has money or he has money, but they don't want to help me. What they see as help, unfortunately, is not you building them up together. It is then depending on you completely, permanently, which is a wrong mindset. Which is a wrong mindset. The mindset even most parents have is, oh, come and help your brother, help your siblings, help other people. is dependence. Because I know a lot of families where people have tried to help those dependent ones, giving them money for businesses countless of times, and they squandered this and they still came back for help. So sacrifice is beautiful, but sacrifice without wisdom can quietly become a prison. And a lot of people are in that prison of sacrifice. A lot of people, they're in the prison of sacrifice, right? Because they are stuck. If every generation must sacrifice everything it builds simply to help the next generation survive, then no generation is ever free to create lasting wealth. What creates wealth is extra money. Oh. It is the extra money that creates wealth. So if there's constantly no extra money because everything is completely spent, then you're creating a generational poverty. Creating generational poverty. Love should not only rescue people's crises for rescue people from today's crisis. Love should also build a future where tomorrow's children inherit opportunities instead of recurring emergencies. Emergency for rent, emergency for school fees. Everything is an emergency. So, the greatest act of financial love, I will say it here today, is not giving away everything you have. It is building something that will continue to provide long after you are gone. And that is how families move from surviving together to prospering together. Right? A lot of people struggle to set financial boundaries. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people fail, at wealth creation. Because you can't set boundaries, you can't set financial boundaries. Right? And it's not because they lack discipline, but it's because some people have been taught, but some people have been programmed, right? With that saying that it's that saying no. They've been programmed to feel that saying no is selfish. Some people have been programmed to feel that sacrificing everything is the highest form of love. It's not. That's why we're hosting the Healing from Financial Trauma course. Because you need to start recognizing your unhealthy financial patterns that are disguising themselves as generosity. You need to start healing the guilt that is associated with building wealth. There is no guilt in saying that I'm building right now and I can't do this or that for the family. There's no guilt that should come with it. You need to heal from that guilt. You need to start setting healthy financial boundaries without losing your compassion. Right? Because financial freedom is not choosing between your family and your future. It's learning how to build a future that blesses your family for generations. So you need to learn how to create healthy financial boundaries. You will now say, I will not help them again. Right? But you may be able to help, but only within the confines of your financial boundaries. So join the Healing for Financial Trauma course. For the Money Click members, you're getting it for a whooping 55% discount. So instead of 30,000, you're paying um, um, 13.5 for the Money Click members to be a part of this course. And it's starting on Monday. It's starting on Monday. Every Money Click member should be a part of this. And if you want to know, if you actually have financial trauma, please, we shared the financial trauma checklist. Take the checklist, examine yourself. In case somebody might be telling themselves, I don't have trauma. Almost most people have financial trauma. And it doesn't matter if you were raised with abundance or you were raised in scarcity. Please, let's get in to learn and get on the process of healing. Right? All right. So this is where we'll come to the end of today's session. Um, Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Madam Linda Oko, Madam Christy. Yes, I see our one leader, Madam Emily Sarah. Yes, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Madam Tomari. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today on today's edition of the Thursday Live session. All right. We're going to be back again. Every week we are here. We are here. We are here. And also we're encouraging you, not the Money Click program, join. For even the Money Click members, registration for 2027 Money Click program has already started. In case you don't know, in case you're wondering, am I? Is it time to start registering or is it not time? It has already started. Some people are already sitting in the 2026, sorry, in the 2027 Money Click program. Some people are already there, seated, right? Some people are already there, seated. So get on board. Some people are already in the wait lists. Please join the wait list so that if price increases or anything happens, you're not part of it. Join the wait list. For 10,000 naira, you can book your slots for a single slot. For a couple slots, you can book with 20,000 naira. Right? So please join the next edition of the Money Click. Book your seat, secure your spot for next year. And if you're not in the Money Click program already, please join the Money Click program. This is your opportunity, right? Join. Let's stay in this community where we keep learning about money every day, because that's what it is. Also, bring your children to the Money Click Kids program. We've been having the Smart Money Kids workshop since this week, I think since Monday. And honestly, if your child is not in the Smart Money Kids workshop, honestly, they are missing out on a lot of things. And this year's focus, every year we host the Smart Money Kids workshop every long vacation for the children, right? Every year. And this year's focus has been on entrepreneurship. And you need to watch what your children has been doing. It's been amazing. It's been amazing, right? It's really been amazing what they've been able to achieve in the last few days. It's been all fun and learning in the Smart Money Kids workshop. It's one place where your children need to be, because they are learning a lot of things. They're learning marketing, they're learning sales, they're learning how to create businesses. That's what we're learning. That's what we're teaching them there. I was having a discussion about the Smart Money Kids workshop because Coach Wendy happened to come into that workshop. That was yesterday. I think she even spoke about it today during the webinar. She peeped into the workshop yesterday, and then later on in the evening, she called me and she told me something. And she said, what these children are learning today in the Smart Money Kids workshop is what adults pay 3 million naira to learn today from me. So what your children are learning, and they're paying 30,000, 22,500 for early bed, those in the Money Click pay 10,000. What they're learning today seems like it's nothing, but trust me, it is building them for tomorrow, and it is also fun, right? So, but Anthony just says that Smart Money Kids is training the child in her. Interesting. Oh my God. It's been fun. It's been fun. It's been fun. Yeah, so avoid paying small, small, low. In fact, I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was saying, if after all this in the Money Click program, and we are still not able to stop doing some things we used to do before, right? Then it means that there's something wrong. Please get your children in the Money Click Kids program. The Smart Money Kids workshop is still on. You can still get them in and watch replays, and they can still join in today, right? Because every day is a new thing to learn. Every day is a new thing to learn. What we're learning today is what a lot of people who run businesses cannot even apply in their businesses today. That's one of the things that we're learning today. And the most fun part is the practical aspect, right? Because it's a workshop. It's not just about me teaching. It's also about them. You need to see them organizing themselves. You need to see them talking to themselves, making presentations and all that. Well, thank you so much, everyone. This is what we'll come to the end of today's class. And I'll leave you with this. Join the Money Click. Bring your children to the Money Click Kids. Bring them on board on the Smart Money Kids workshop. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'll see you all next week. Okay, yes. Okay, this is the flyer for the Smart Money Kids workshop. I'll see you all next week. Next week, we're here again Wednesday and Thursday, right? 12 noon is the time. Don't miss it. Right? Thank you so much, everyone. Yes, I know, ma. Once they are of age, I'm expecting them, Madam Ann. Once they are of age, we are expecting them to join in. Thank you so much for joining us today, everyone. Have a lovely day ahead. For those that their children are in the Smart Money Kids workshop, we're going to see there. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
So have you ever wondered why you keep making the same money mistakes, even after reading books, attending seminars, and learning about budgeting and so much more? Maybe you've promised yourself countless times that, oh, this month I'll save, this year I'll invest, this time I'll be more disciplined. Yet somehow you end up repeating the same cycle. What if your problem isn't lack of financial knowledge? What if it's unresolved financial trauma? Financial trauma occurs when painful money experiences create emotional wounds that continue to influence your financial decisions even years later. Perhaps you grew up in a home where there was never enough. Perhaps your parents constantly fought over money. Perhaps you watched the family business collapse. Perhaps you experienced sudden poverty after a period of comfort. That event may have ended, but the emotional impact remained. And today, those experiences may be silently shaping how you earn, how you spend, how you invest, and even discuss money. So many people are trying to solve emotional problems with financial strategies. That's like trying to treat a broken bone with perfume. Until you heal the wound, the symptoms will keep returning. And that is why I created the Healing from Financial Trauma course. Not to teach more budgeting, not to teach more investing, but to help people understand the hidden emotional forces driving their money decisions. Because when healing begins, financial transformation becomes sustainable. If this resonates with you, send us a message. Let's talk about how you can join the Healing from Financial Trauma course. You can just comment healing in the comments. I'll reach out to you with the details. My name is Chukwemeko Elise and I'm the founder of the Viral Academy. Bye-bye.